day to you.
Hello.
How's it going?
So great.
Seems like it.
So great.
Last couple of days have been good to you.
So good.
Oh,
So good.
glad you made it.
Yeah, we're here, day late. You weren't feeling so hot yesterday.
No, I had some good work done on my neck and my back and my shoulders the other day, and took me out.
That woman is a miracle worker.
Yep.
But she will mess you up.
She'll stick her fingers in places I didn't even know existed.
100%. I'm pretty sure that's the only way I got through being pregnant with Archer.
Yeah. No, it was pretty intense.
But
My
she's
shoulders,
amazing.
my neck still hurt right now, and it was a few days ago.
Yeah.
But man, she worked my neck.
Yeah.
I had so many knots you couldn't even count them. So,
Well, that makes sense.
but she did suggest that I should go get a massage at least once every 4 to 6 weeks. So
That's fine. I can do the same thing.
we don't have a doctor's prescribed note.
She wrote you a note? She did?
Well, she didn't write me a note, but she said if you need proof, just call her.
I'll just call her. Okay. I'll shoot her a text here in a minute and ask.
So I'll be going down to the Blue Dolphin often.
I'm done with you. I'm so done. Cool.
Yeah, feeling great.
I'm glad. That makes me happy for you.
Headaches are kind of going away. And I don't have very many headaches, but man, lately it's been pretty bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's always hard when some part of your body hurts and makes other things hurt. Just like a weird trickle down.
Yeah, it's like it's all connected.
Yeah. It's weird how that works.
Yeah. Odd.
Well, yesterday when I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I woke up on the right side of the bed.
Yeah.
But I woke up later than I wanted to. I haven't been able to walk in the morning or in the evenings because it's been raining.
Yeah.
So I was just not in a great headspace all day yesterday. And I was texting with my sisters, and Carl sent a Bible verse, and I was like, you know what? That's the one we need to use.
Let's hear it.
So it comes out of Matthew,
Yep.
chapter 11,
Great book.
verse 28. Then Jesus said, "Come to me, all of who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. For my yoke is easy to bear, and the burden I give you is light."
Yep. Which is all of us in life.
100%. But yesterday, definitely was me. I was just highly irritable on all
I noticed.
avenues. And then just add to the irritability, children that don't want to listen.
Yeah, that's all kids though.
No, for sure. I'm not saying it's like our kid, right? But like, this is my job as her parent to be harder on her now than
For sure.
her being an a-hole
Yeah, exactly.
in 10 years.
Yeah, right.
So this phase is just not fun for me.
Yeah, I can see that. The not listening part is not fun, but
She's a great kid.
it's easily corrected, which is nice because they're not just running around being a bunch of buttholes.
For sure.
But, they have selective hearing, and that needs to be corrected often. Probably me. So, but I have noticed, if you just walk right over, like Archer is a lot easier because he's still young and he can be easily manipulated. And I just walk over there and grab his arm and tell him what to do.
Yeah.
I'm stern about it. Come here, go do this right now. He's a
like,
2-year-old. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
But until then, he doesn't hear you.
Yeah.
He just, he's 2 years old.
Yeah.
So,
His not listening doesn't faze me as much as Olive's not listening.
No, he gets a pass, just because of his age. And
For
he's
sure.
still easy to push forward, but Olive knows exactly what she's doing.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
And so yesterday, part of this conversation that I had with her was like, I'm done. I'm only going to tell you one time. And I'll tell you one time nicely. And if you don't want to listen after the first time of me being nice about it, I'm going to take something away.
Yep.
And I don't know how long it'll be for, but I'm going to take it away.
Yep.
Until it hurts.
And we've done that before, and we don't stick to it.
Right.
So that's why, and she knows it.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, they'll take away my, my 500 squishmallows for a weekend. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'll get them back on Monday.
Yeah.
what does it matter? I don't sleep with him anymore anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So
I just sit on her bed or on the floor.
Right. And she knows that, you know.
But she was bummed when she had to bring all those out tonight.
She sure was.
And then when I was putting her to bed, she was like, well, since I don't have any Squishmallows in here, I'm like, well, you could have Squishmallows in here if you just decided to listen.
I know.
Seems pretty easy.
She even asked me for help taking him out of her room, and I told her absolutely not. No, you're asking the wrong person.
Oh, the irony.
I know.
Kids, man.
You know, lovable pains in the butts.
100%.
So
let's recap our week.
Wow, nice.
Recap our week.
Let's recap our week.
Oh. So last week, was it last week? Yeah, maybe towards the end of the previous week, we kicked off a huge demo job for us.
This is last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kicked out a huge demo job, which that place is massive.
Yeah, and the guys are kicking ass. They got, a third of it done in 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be a month's worth of work.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with him, killing it through this month.
Absolutely.
We always worry about the guys not having work, and every time God provides and we have work.
Always.
So every time they rush through a job, part of me is like, okay, cool, it's going to make us a lot of money. Mm-hmm. But the other part of me is like, I really don't want these guys to end up in the backyard working on the trees or something because we're slow for a week. So I'm kind of trying to walk that thin line of, hey, take your time a little bit, but don't.
It's always that.
Take advantage of the clock at the same time. So it's a thin line we ride.
It's also a vicious cycle because it happens all the time.
Right.
All the time.
Right.
You did sign up another pretty large job for us.
I did sign up another large job.
So that was good.
In addition to a Ford dealership.
Mm-hmm.
So with actually a really good client that I'm glad we were able to bring over from the last company I was with. So
yeah. Like you were the only one there. The last company I was with.
The last company I was with.
Ew.
I mean, you were there too.
Duh.
Previously, but you left before I did, so you don't count anymore.
Yeah, but they wanted me more than they wanted you. And you can't say no to that.
But you left before I did.
I didn't have a choice.
So you don't count anymore.
That's not true.
So the last company.
I was gone and they still wanted me. They didn't want you to stay.
So anyways, the last company I was with.
See? No.
The last company we were with.
Yeah, no, it was a great, they are a great.
Awesome client. Great work. Client. They have really good projects. Yeah. And they do a lot of dealerships. I mean, they are called dealership solutions. So.
And they pay their bills on time.
They pay their bills on time. It's a family-owned business.
Yeah.
And they're just good people.
They are.
So it's a good job.
Yeah. Very excited for that one.
We got enough work signed up for the year that if for whatever reason we don't get any more work, we'll probably be just fine, which is a blessing because it's June.
Yeah.
That's insane. So if we keep going the way we're going, it's going to be a really, really good year.
Yeah. It's just wild. I mean, in a matter of like a few weeks, our payroll is like doubled.
I know.
It's kind of crazy.
I know.
So, but it's all good things and it's all where we're supposed to be, which is always nice too. But boy, stroking those checks, man.
Tell me about it.
Super fun.
I get it. See, we keep getting the checks in the mail. So
we do.
As long as that keeps happening, we'll be just fine. And, we'll just give it to God and pray for it and
always
keep our heads up.
Yep.
Talking to him and making sure we're doing everything we're supposed to be doing and that we honor him in everything we do and everything's going to be good.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Whatever happens, happens. And we're always on the right path. We're always on the path we're supposed to be.
Absolutely.
So we're very blessed right now.
Absolutely. And I think the other thing too, to think about and just to point out is just like how nice it is to, for the most part, right? So it's a constant reminder, but like just to like relinquish the control and be like, you know what, whatever is meant to be will be. Like that's just genuinely how it is. Like whatever is meant to be will be. There's
no more truth than that.
Yeah.
If you're not living like that, which is a pretext practice, I do it every day. I have to give everything up every single day.
Oh yeah.
Because man, as cliche as this, nobody's perfect and it's so easy. It's so much easier to take or want to take back control of the things in your life than it is to give them up.
Well, of course.
Give them up is nothing but faith and trust. And, for a lot of people, the hardest part is not seeing who you're giving it up to.
Yeah.
right? That's faith. You just let go. You leap. It's a leap of faith.
Mm-hmm.
You just let go. And I got to do it every single day.
Yeah.
I have to remind myself all day, every day. And there's constant reminders. We were going to, be frank with everybody listening. We were going to borrow money, for the business, which everybody borrows money. It's a line of credit, but we've been doing so good lately, independently, and then we had to borrow money. And it's just every time we borrow money is a stressful thing because we got to put it back.
Which is like a big thing for me. It's twofold, right? Like I know that the money is coming in.
Right.
But I also hate chasing my money.
For sure.
And so some of these
chasing the
customers
money sucks. Yeah.
can be testing the Jesus in me.
I know.
Because
you're right.
Don't with my money.
Yeah. But within the same 30 minutes of us having a conversation of moving money from the line of credit into our account.
Well, no, we didn't even have to move it.
I literally get an email that, hey, we've got a $45,000 check for you waiting. Do you want to come pick it up or you want to mail it?
I'm like, no, I'll be there.
We'll come pick it up.
I'll be there right now.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Yeah.
So
100%.
That's when you realize it's just another reminder that just stop.
Yeah.
Stop worrying.
For sure.
Stop worrying.
Absolutely.
Worrying just gets you closer to the grave and not closer to heaven.
Yeah, and it's money.
It's money.
It's like,
Who cares?
Honestly.
Who cares?
Money has become the most disgusting thing to me.
I know.
Like, I literally
hate
money.
Yep.
I hate everything it stands for. I hate everything it turns people into. I hate everything about any and all of it.
Right.
Like, I'm done.
But that's where you have to turn that, on a 180 and turn it into a positive, where we take the responsibility and take the role of making money a good thing. Because money is a good thing.
No, for sure.
There's a lot of really positive things that money has always done.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the hard, it's difficult to be positive all the time. Man, negativity is such an easy thing to grasp.
Ooh.
Turning things into positive.
That one's really, for lack of better words, chopping my ass these days. Like, people's negativity.
Yeah.
I ain't here for it.
Right.
I got my own shit. If you want to vent, I'm cool with it. Like, I'm here for your vent session, but then, like, enough.
Right.
Like, we did it. We said it. Let's move on.
Yeah. And it's a poison.
I don't want to keep hearing your shit anyway. I want to listen to my own shit.
Yeah.
I don't want to listen to yours.
Yeah. Negativity it's a poison, man. It's hard to listen to.
Yeah.
And really easy to regurgitate.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to manipulate everything into a positive situation, which I'm learning to. And sometimes it makes me hard. Sometimes trying to be as positive I'm trying to be kind of is making me the opposite of empathetic. Like it's making me, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it makes me not be able to get on your level of negativity where I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, hey, just flip it around.
100%.
Why is it that big of a deal? I don't get it. So it's hard for me to feel sorry for you or feel bad for you or in my mind, I'm like, I'm learning how to grasp this. How can I teach this person or anybody, hey, flip it instead of joining in on their negativity. Like, yeah, I know it sucks.
Yeah.
It's so bad, blah, 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 blah. Then you're not helping anybody. You're not helping yourself. You're entering into that world.
My favorite is the people that think they're so positive.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah.
And like, I'm not over here thinking that I'm like positive Polly. Like, I know I've got my moments, but I'm not trying to burden anybody else with my moments. I'm sulking in them in my own.
For sure. Right.
Like, I don't want to spew this to anybody else.
Right. You just sit in it.
Yeah. So yeah, it was definitely a wild one.
Yeah.
Well, I took the kids to the museum the other day.
Yes.
Which was very funny. It's definitely more of like an olive aged museum.
Yeah, for sure. It's not for
than
2-year-olds, right?
But he had a blast just running around with his sister. He thought that was the coolest thing ever. And so mom and dad went with us, and it was a great time. And we, had lunch and came home. And
did you guys go to the treehouse thing they have there?
The
Universe Treehouse, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Oh, is that pretty cool?
Yeah, it's like built into the museum, and you like walk through a door.
A glass room.
Yeah, it like takes you up or takes you in, and they've built a giant tree house, and then there's like another little tree that you can like walk in and see all of the universe, which is pretty cool. And there's like microscopes and stuff for you to look at on it. So it was definitely fun.
That's cool.
Had like a little puppet show setup thing, and all of us like, I'm gonna put these puppets on, and I'm gonna put on a puppet show, and then like people started watching, and she was like,
never mind.
I don't know what to say. I can say whatever you want. But yeah, so it was pretty cool. It was the Bishop Museum.
Nice. That's right, the Bishop Museum.
Mm-hmm. And then on Saturday, I had a spa day with my mom and my sisters.
That's right.
It was fantastic. And then I came home and the house was a disaster.
Yeah, because we partied hard.
But then I'm the one cleaning it up.
I don't just ditch you and not clean up. You act like you come home and I go out and back.
No, I walked in though and I was like, where did all this stuff come from?
Yeah.
Like, and why are there like 30 cups on the floor?
Yeah.
Archer.
We had a good time.
That's a good thing though.
We played YouTube games.
I'm sorry, what?
We played YouTube games, which I'm getting kind of burnt out on. Yeah.
I had to explain to her the other day that like, no. Just no.
It's very annoying.
Very.
YouTube
like
Kids is like filled with a bunch of annoying,
dumb,
random, waste of time things.
Yeah.
It's like, oh gosh.
But I had to explain to her that the things that they're doing, like these games, are not like their everyday life.
No, they are.
Like they're not like on a Tuesday afternoon, like let's play this whatever game it is.
It is a production.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was a whole ass conversation on the way
she
home
don't get it
from mom's. But yeah, I was just like, sis, it doesn't work like that. And she tries to make up her own rules and like make all these things. And I'm like, this.
No. She's a full-on dictator.
Yeah, I'm like, this is not even fun.
Yeah, no.
I don't want to play this game with you.
No.
Get out of here.
No.
Go find me Uno.
She doesn't understand that, those twins or that family, they're doing it for money.
Yeah.
And they're making a production of it. Mm-hmm. And they're not really sitting there eating handfuls of candy.
Right.
And, buying these shopping sprees, without having the money funded from the last video they did that got 30 million views because someone like Olive was watching it.
100 times over.
She watches these twins that do like this sour and not sour candy, under a cup thing. They just pick, do you want to switch? And they don't, or they do. And then they open it and one's got sour, one's got regular. And she wanted to do that. I was like, we're not going to sit here and eat candy for 30 minutes. Are you out of your mind? Like, holy moly, chick.
She's like, actually.
So, even when we limit her use of that stuff, it's still there. Even if it's there for she's watching 15 minutes, it's still 15 minutes of her life that it, entered into, and she soaks everything up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, the YouTube world. It's a very odd world to me.
Yeah, it is odd. There's a lot of weird stuff on YouTube.
Yeah, and just a lot of weird, like, that's why you and I are always like, what are you watching? What is it? Like, show us.
Yeah,
like,
turn that off. It's such a waste of time.
Yeah, there's something
that's so weird.
Like this lady that makes like miniature stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's cool and all, but why are we sitting here watching this?
Oh, that's kind of cool.
See what I mean?
That's kind of cool.
Ugh.
I'm sorry.
I'm like, ugh.
It's like how it's made. Gosh. Those are cool things.
Oh, those people that pour freaking slime stuff all over their floor.
That I don't understand.
Why are we watching this?
Right.
And why are you making that big ass mess on your floor?
You've never seen the movie Idiocracy?
No.
But, there's a scene on Idiocracy where the main character wakes up in the future in America, and he wakes up in the house of just an average guy, but he's sitting on his couch watching this TV show that is nothing but stupid things happening to people getting hurt or just really dumb, brainless, thoughtless videos that they sit there and just go, ho, 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 ho. It's just, the movie Idiocracy, everybody should watch Idiocracy because it is like It's verbatim where we are. And that movie's like
cool
20 or 25 years old. The movie's so old, and it is verbatim
Ugh.
what's happening right now. It's crazy. It's unbelievable.
Ugh.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Wild.
So, Idiocracy. Sponsored by Idiocracy.
If we can just get it sponsored, that'd be great.
No, we'll figure it out one day.
Yeah. Archer still on his swimming.
Yeah, he's getting there. He's getting ballsy. I
He
like
is
it.
getting ballsy
Now he's swimming around by himself.
with his little vest on.
Yep. Cruising around.
Before he would not let you let go of him.
No. Now he's just floating around.
He's all
Kick.
yeah.
Yep.
He's getting it, which is
Yep.
kind of cool. Swimming on his own, so it'll be fun to see like him and Veda get in the pool together
I know.
because she does her own thing too. She's like floating around and hanging out, and so
Yeah.
it'd be cool to see them just kind of doing their own thing
Right.
and chilling, not having to worry so much about them.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
He's a blast in the pool. I have a lot of fun with him.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's like Olive.
she's a nutcase in the pool.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I just want to leave work early and just come in the afternoon to the house, just lay in the pool by myself because that moment of time does not exist anymore.
No, not at all.
It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah,
It's not a bummer, but sometimes I'm like, shit, man. Get off my shoulders. Get off my back.
it's probably why you have neck problems.
Get off of me.
In all seriousness,
I just
you're
want
just got
to
a
chill in my
60-pound
floaty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
6-pound chick just jumping on your neck.
That's why all the floaty seats break off.
Is it because she jumps on him?
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Because I
know
can't
that.
just sit in it. I sit in it and then she jumps in it.
Tell her to go get on.
I love my kids. I love my kids a lot.
You do what Miss Mary says. Walk away for 5 minutes.
Walk away.
If
Thank
you
you.
still want to yell at them when you come back, then yell. 'Cause
I try to swim away. It doesn't work.
that means that they deserve to be yelled at that point.
Lord, thank you for my children.
100%. Church service this weekend. First off, when Pastor David talks, I just love it.
I know.
He's such a wise man.
Yeah.
And I learned this weekend that he has a master's in theology. So,
Oh, he does.
yeah. But yeah, he's just a fantastic,
Yeah. He's a great speaker.
great speaker, great guy. Like, I just love listening to him talk. And so this weekend's church service was on like the practical ways of studying the Bible.
Yeah.
And it was fascinating because, right, we think like, oh, it's pretty easy. But he made such a good point, which at the very beginning of service, he was like, you do this, you just open the Bible and you're like, that's the one I'm going to study. And that's it. You don't read the context before or the context after. And and then what?
Yeah. You don't even know what you just read.
Nope. Or you've taken all these verses out of context.
Yeah. You don't know which direction to
And
go
then
in
it's
life
like,
with it. Right.
What the hell?
Yeah.
So he had a lot of really great advice. One of them was obviously to pray and to choose a translation that works best for you.
Yes.
I think both of us, well, like I've said, I listen to the Bible right now, but I think you and I even listen to or read different versions.
I read the NLT. Was it the New Living Translation? Yeah.
And I actually think I listen to the English Standard Version.
Okay. And the one that I have has a lot, it's got asterisks all over the place.
Yeah.
And then it'll tell you what the original translation or meaning of that, because like Pastor David said, like the New Living Translation, what did he say? It's not word for word, but it was more of like thought for thought. So the asterisks will take you back to the word for word, because some of the stuff seems in the New Living Translation is very super simplified, which I really love.
Yeah.
And what I think my goal is, because I'm truly reading the Bible for the first time, and I'm just kind of bouncing around in the books. I don't really have a direction just yet because I want to get to know it. But I'd like to get through it this year and then go back and read a different, a word for word, translation version of the Bible, where when I go and read Matthew or read Luke or read Genesis, that I will actually have a better idea of what the older, verbiage means.
Yeah.
Because I think in my brain, that's the better way to go.
Yeah.
Thought for thought is definitely a Americanized, professor.
Yeah. And that's where you find your devotionals.
Yeah. That's where they pull them out of.
Yeah.
Right. They,
which is their perspective.
Right.
Of it.
Devotionals are a whole nother step further
Right.
with thought for thought.
Which is how in their diagram, which we should pull from
Yeah.
the website, and we'll put it here, right here, so that everybody can see, because it was actually super helpful to see where, you know, an actual word for word translation would come from, where versus like a thought for thought, and where
Right.
really knowing it word for word helps with the studying portion.
Yeah.
So that was also super helpful to kind of see and understand. And I think this year, obviously I'm listening to it. Next year's goal for me is to like actually do studies like in the Bible. And I have so many here that I need to just, you know, pop open, but I wanted to get like a full understanding of the Bible first before I just jumped into studies. And I have tons of them that I'm pretty excited to do a deeper dive into next year.
Yeah. And going back to the translations and the versions of the Bible, I had never ever thought the difference, you know, of the translations, how he, you know, or how the church, you know, created that diagram that, you know, that to show you the differences in very simple terms.
Yeah.
But I had always thought, you know, I mean, and it is the way that I'm thinking, that they were always, you know, they started from the hardest version to the simplest version of the Bible, how, you know, to read it. And obviously I'm, you know, about probably 4 versions ahead of children, but, you know, but I'd never thought of it in the sense that, you know, you're going to stray from, you know, the hardcore version of the Bible translated to English, you know, versus the much easier to read version, you know, where, you know, different authors and professors and pastors and whoever over the years, you know, have all collectively created, you know, a version of the Bible that is A, simple to read, but B, kind of connects with you in this day and age, which I enjoy. But like I said, it would be nice to go through that and then go back and read a version of the Bible that's a lot, you know, closer in relation to the, you know, original translations.
Yeah.
And I think I'll just have a better understanding of what it means because I read it, you know, at such a 5th grade level.
Yeah. I get that. Another part of this was to choose a time, place, and plan, which is huge. Before we took Archer out of school, I would listen to it at work. And now I just kind of have to listen to it when I can. But my biggest goal, and I was doing really great at it for a couple of weeks, was I actually would do my devotional in the morning. So I would like go for my walk, come home, shower, do my devotional, and then I would listen to the Bible while I was like packing lunches and doing all that stuff.
Right.
And that was super helpful too. So when he said that, I was like, man, it's so true, because it really does stick with you better. You have a better understanding of it when the routine and the repetition is there.
For sure.
Your brain just definitely absorbs the material.
Yeah. And
so much better.
And I took that as well when he said that, because I do it every morning at the office. I read at least 2 pages.
Right.
You know, but when he said that, it started to get me to think, is that the best time in the morning? Is the morning when I get to work the best time for me to read the Bible? And I started thinking it's probably not. Oh. Because I'm just so moody in the morning. And I'm slow in the morning. And I just
in the morning?
Just in the morning. But I just, you know, I get to the office and it's, you know, 6 or 6:15 and I'm tired.
Yeah.
And for me, that's hard. It takes me, you know, an hour to, you know, get my gears going to where I'm in like full swing of work. But in between that is when I'm reading the Bible. And, you know, there are days when I'll read 2 pages and I'll, you know, hang it up for the day and I'll look back and go, I don't even remember what I read.
Right.
I don't even remember what I read.
Yeah.
So maybe it's something I read, you know, an hour before I leave the office or something, you know, where it's still quiet, but the day's ramping down. I'm wide awake. I need a break. And, you know, so, you know, that hit me too this weekend. You know, maybe I need to really, truly think about, you know, my time and place when I read.
I also have learned, and this might benefit you too, is snoozing your alarm is like, makes me so much more tired.
Yeah, for sure.
Like throughout the day.
Yeah.
And like, that was like this morning. Finally, I was like, well, I've been up since 3:45 anyway, because Archer woke up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stay awake at this point, and I'm not going to even attempt to snooze the alarm. I'm just going to stop the alarms and I'm just going to stay awake.
Yeah.
because
It's proven
it's
that
awful.
hitting your snooze button totally wrecks you in the morning.
Yeah.
Totally.
Maybe
And they
you'd be
said
in a better mood if you didn't snooze.
probably. But it's tough to get up.
Oh, it's hard.
Tough to get up. It's tough for me to get up because I don't like to fill time. So if I got up at 5, then I got all this time to fill before I leave for work. Otherwise, I'm just going to be at work at 5:30. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but like there's things that you could do.
Like what?
Like you talked about wanting to like do push-ups and sit-ups or whatever it is, and
Yeah, I have been wanting to do that.
you just don't do them because you snooze.
No, I mean, I've done them every now and then at work. I've been trying to get into it, lay on the floor at work and get dog hair all over me.
My point exactly.
I do the same thing here and get dog hair all over me.
Right.
But you're right. I mean, there are, in my mind, I'm just not a morning person.
You're just making excuses.
1,000%. I'm just not a morning person.
Which is fair.
So for me to think about getting up earlier.
I wake up your protege every morning. So I know what it's like to hang out with not the morning person.
Yeah. No, it's tough. Mornings are tough for me. But there's statistics that say if you snooze your alarm every morning, by the time you get to work, you're not productive for like the first hour and a half or 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like you're just full of crap for that morning. And it's true because I know it. I can feel it when I get to work. I'm sluggish. I'm like, I got to get into this. I'm drinking my caffeine-free tea or coffee, which doesn't help.
It's true.
And, by the time I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
It's 8:30.
I remember the joke when we all worked with Carl at the office, and it was like, don't talk to Carly before 10 a.m.
Mm-hmm. It was such a serious thing.
But it was real.
It was real.
She was not a morning person.
No.
She's definitely a morning person now because twins,
Right.
But it was like, don't talk to her before 10 a.m. because
Nope.
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 Wasn't going to work.
Same thing. Snoozed, came to work.
Yeah.
Wasn't worth a crap
Yeah.
for 2 hours.
No, it's true though.
And I get halfway there. And some days like this morning was really easy because I got to work, but I had to leave and go to a couple jobs to look at them. But so those days I'm great. I think it's just I need to break my day up anyways. I need to be better about getting out of the office and breaking up just being, the boss who sits in the office and estimates and tries to sell jobs all day long because, man, that kills me.
Yeah, it's just not your personality either.
Kills me. Just
it
like
takes away your momentum for anything else.
100%.
Which
and it's just
wants.
it's just as tiring as anything else.
Yeah.
It's mind altering versus body altering. So I get home and I'm like, my brain doesn't want to do anything.
Yeah, it's true. I get that. Which brings us kind of into the next point, as silly as it is understanding the context.
Right.
Like you said, like you look back and read it and you're like, I don't even remember what I read, but understanding the context, right? So not just picking that verse out, but looking at the whole story, because there is some really great verses, but the before and after people don't really like to talk about those parts. So it's funny.
It's not all fun. The Bible's not full of fun.
No, but it is funny. So that is a big deal, is on understanding the context of what you're reading and what you're studying.
Right. And dissecting the words and, looking at, if there's plural words and if there's, what Jesus did, either for himself or for others. But when he did it for others, what was he asking for in return? Or, David did a really good job at showing that example. I forget which example it was.
In Acts.
It was in Acts, yes. And, just picked it apart and made notes as if it was homework.
Yeah.
And I don't read the Bible like that yet.
Right.
The Bible's not one of those things you read and you put it back on your shelf. You just keep reading and you keep reading and you read different versions and you keep reading, because it's my goal. One of my goals this year is to learn how to memorize important verses, at least to me, that I want to be able to talk about here or bring up as in conversations, that I want to be able to express to other people. So that's one of my goals this year, is trying to remember verses, where they come from,
right?
Who said them, what book they were in, what verse. So this was a good church service for me, for sure.
Yeah. So, he went through like observation, interpretation, application, reading it slowly and faithfully, and then pray and obey.
Yeah.
So pray over what you're reading. Pray for understanding and guidance, and not only in your life, but in your situations and situations with other people, whatever it may be, and obey the word. It's so easy to read the word and not obey the word.
Yeah,
how we read,
anybody can read it as a book.
For sure.
Because it's a book.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you're not getting anything out of it, and then when you start to get things out of it, and then you decide to not allow those things into your life.
Right.
That's, the Bible works, man. It's literally that's why other books in life are called Bibles.
Yeah.
If you're at work, whatever, any job you're at, if there's a binder for that job, you always call it your Bible.
Yeah,
it's my work.
This is your Bible.
This is your Bible. This is your work Bible. This is your math Bible. That book is your Bible. And we forget that there is a Bible.
Yeah.
And it will tell you everything.
Mm-hmm.
It tells you how to do business right.
Yeah.
It tells you how to have relationships the right way. It's,
It's true.
But yeah, pray and then obey the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough word, obey.
Yeah.
It's a hard word because I didn't, I grew up really loving the company Obey, and it was the opposite of that obey.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm not going to listen to anything you say because I'm a punk ass kid.
100%.
So, obeying a Bible is a new one for me, especially as an adult. But I've learned to just give it all away and not, I don't care what people think anymore. I don't care how goofy I sound or, to me, obeying the Bible, talking about the Bible from my perspective as a man makes you more of a man. Back in the day when I was young, I would have felt like a nerd, and now I just feel powerful.
Yeah.
To read the book, to read the Bible, to pray over the Bible, to pray over what I'm reading and how it's going to affect me, and then to try to, follow that path and obey that path in my own life, as a husband or a friend or a father or a boss or, an employee or whatever it is. Obey's the big one, man.
Yeah. I second that. Well, let's jump into, do you have on here that you want to talk more about dieting?
Yeah, I did. And I don't know. I think we just kind of cruised through it, the other day, but I kind of wanted to talk more in depth. One thing I want to start doing the podcast is having more in depth conversation about, hot topics or topics that, that we're into. Yeah. Instead of just kind of, cruise through them. In the last, 40 minutes have been a good change in my perspective for the podcast. Talking how we just talked is kind of where I want to see it go. Right. I always look at our clips we pull out of these things and I'm like, man, I wish there was more substance. Yeah. And I think the more and more we do these, the more there is substance. Yeah. But the dieting thing, I kind of wanted to go back in and, get your perspective and what you've learned on ingredients. And, we talked about, we're taking out dyes, but why? Right. Why do we take out dyes and which dyes? And, trying to... All of them. But trying to decipher what we decide to listen to and what we don't and how much research do we really put into things. Right. Or do we just jump on the train of a certain thing because it doesn't really hurt either way. Right. Right. Like Red 40 we'll just start there because that's one of the biggest, that's one of the biggest topics of ingredients out there right now. I don't know how Red 40 is made. So I don't know exactly how it's made, but I can tell you what its effects are. Right, exactly. So that's what I want to talk about. Just onto kids, right? We see these kind of wild outbursts in behavior, a lot of just, for lack of better words, kids just being buttheads, right? Yeah, it's a behavioral situation. And so the thought of like getting your kid hopped up on sugar, right? It's like all this time, like
were we sure it was the sugar?
Right. Was it sugar or was
it all the
was it that
dyes?
red Jolly Rancher?
Right. That were
or
in
that,
it. And
or that blue sucker, was it?
right. And so obviously red dye is the more hot topic because of all of those things. You're starting to see such a link in children's behavior. And I've talked to countless parents who have been like, I couldn't get control of my kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then I literally cut out dyes and I had a totally different child in my hand in days.
Yeah.
It's not even like,
in days. Right.
so
That's what I've heard.
days.
Same thing.
And so when I guess when I thought about what to give our kids and when you and I had started to kind of just look at ingredients and pay attention to things, a big one for me was just like, why am I giving my kids junk? Like,
right.
I get that it's cheap,
Yeah.
and I get that, sometimes it's convenience. And do I tell Olive no all the time? No. And did I go and find Archer suckers that were made with beet juice instead of Red 40? Yeah, I did, because I would rather him get the enjoyment of a lollipop versus all the negative benefits or negative things that happen when he has a dum-dum, you know? And do I let Olive have, some type of not great for you snack or whatever it is when she's out somewhere? Of course, because she's also a kid, and I know that 99% of the time she makes really great food decisions.
Yeah. Everything is okay. Most everything is okay in moderation. Mm-hmm. It's like,
but it's the foundation that we build for her,
for
her to make those decisions in moderation.
Correct. Right. Just it's building her mindset, her thought process.
I mean, she eats healthier than both of us.
Yeah.
On her own.
Yeah, we don't have to try.
No. So, but for me, ingredients was such a big one, and I had no problem just throwing shit away.
Right.
Like when we sat down and looked at things, I was like, well, that one doesn't work. Gotta go. Have I found like the cleanest chocolate chip cookie that she likes? Probably not the cleanest, but I found one that's, 75%, 80% better than what she was eating.
Right.
And that brings me to the point of like, she's still a kid and I'm still going to let her be a kid. And I think a big one, right, is her favorite thing is a school sandwich, which is literally just a ham, cheese, and mayonnaise sandwich.
Right.
But instead of using like potato bread, we now use Dave's Killer Bread, which is like organic. So it doesn't have enriched flour, which has folic acid, which we're learning is terrible for girls.
Right. And by the way, enriched flour has like 14 ingredients.
Yeah.
And organic whole wheat flour is organic whole wheat flour.
Yeah.
So I learned that. Mm-hmm. And because every time you do something, I'm always like, hey, here comes Hippie Crystal. Because I grew up.
I'm pretty sure my brother said the same thing.
I grew up on 25-cent hamburger and 35-cent cheeseburger nights at McDonald's. Mm-hmm. So my body is a temple. Mm. But
naughty neck.
So now it's like, I look into the research too, and the reality is that what harm can it do to just get off that crap to begin with? Even if Red 40.
Well, do you want to know what harm would do?
No, that's what I'm saying. But even if
financial,
right? Okay. Well, yeah, for sure. But even if Red 40,
Kellogg's cereals, and they started to eat a cleaner version, well, Kellogg's would lose their mind, and so would every other government person with their hand in the pocket of the people that work at Kellogg's.
Right.
And so it's money. All it is.
It is money, and it's a manufacturing. It's the most inexpensive manufacturing possible to create the most return. Obviously, that's how everything is. Yeah. And when it gets into food, it gets nasty. The problem is that when you and I when we change our diets, we're not in the category that's going to make the difference. No. The difference is there, the different classes. I hate to talk like this, but the difference is a class that's lower than us, which is much larger, right? I read it. I heard a statistic the other day that said the 1% of the world, right? The 1% of the world makes $80,000 a year or more. Mm-hmm. How insane is that?
Well, yeah, and you can't.
So
you put a $7 price tag, like you're saying, on a loaf of bread.
Right, for a healthier version.
Nobody's going to be able to afford that.
But that means that 99% of the world makes less than $80,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones that you have to get to change their ways.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that are going to be able to change Kellogg's. Because right now Kellogg's is like, well, if we have this market who's going, Target,
mm-hmm.
right? Target's like, well, there's obviously a market for healthier foods.
Yeah.
So we're going to make all organic cereals.
Yeah.
And I have to say, their Frosted Flakes is 3 ingredients,
mm-hmm.
which is mind-blowing.
I know.
Mind-blowing. It tastes like crap after about 4 seconds in milk. But
it wasn't terrible.
No, but it's beyond healthier.
Oh, God, yeah.
There's nothing. It's just, it's cane sugar, salt, and organic wheat flour.
I think,
it's crazy.
It's so many things. There's so many reasons why people don't make the switch, right? It's, my kid's a picky eater.
Most of it's financial.
Okay. Absolutely. That's a huge one. I can't afford it. But if you put cleaner ingredients into your body, you stay fuller longer. Therefore, you're not buying as much.
Very true.
As you were before.
Very true.
And so I would love to see people obviously make those switches, and it would be fantastic if the whole world just said screw you to the government and to all these
big giant companies.
Yeah, giant companies that are taking advantage of people. Yeah. And it's funny, I remember like a few weeks ago, probably months ago now, but you and I had sat down and we were just having one of these conversations about food, and you were like, I don't think it was, done out of, like they weren't being malicious. And it's like, well, no.
It doesn't start that way.
They weren't being malicious when it started.
Right. But they sure haven't stopped.
Well, and they know what the effects are now. Yeah. And so those are the things where it gets really frustrating and really hard, like I've found Good and Gathered, the Target brand, cereal, and Olive loves it. And it pisses me off because I have to drive to Target, which is,
not for long.
That's true. Not for long, but
unfortunately,
it's a giant inconvenience for me. But at the same time, I'll drive to Target and I'll make the inconvenience because she does love it. And it's a much healthier swap. And I think that's the other part is people don't want to be inconvenienced.
No, for sure. Convenience is everything. That's why McDonald's still exists.
Exactly. But for you and I and for our kids, like fast food doesn't exist in our house anymore.
No, it's kind of crazy.
There's no like pulling into a drive-through.
No.
I just have zero desire to do it.
And when we travel or drive, it's a little, we'll stop at Buc-ee's and get a burrito or something, but we're not, it's not it's a rarity.
Yeah. And a big part too is, goes back into the convenience is like when you and I went to Savannah, I packed a ton of snacks and a bunch of beverages and stuff. Cause it was just like, if we could just, I don't care about stopping, but like stop giving our money, which is a big one for you, right? To just junk.
Yeah.
Then like, if we are going to cut out spending money on junk in the physical aspect of our life, then we should be able to do it for food too.
No, I agree.
Because that one is
100%.
even more important than, buying t-shirts or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So food just became kind of the thing that I was like, oh no. Yeah. We're not going down this road. And it's funny because my mom, I was on the phone with her the other day, and we're going to go to North Carolina with them next month and go see Tab. And, my mom was like, we can always go to the grocery store when we get there because I don't know what the kids are allowed to eat and not allowed to eat. And it's like, I sat there for a second and I was just like, how funny. Like, it's just, I mean, kudos to me, right? To pat myself on the back because I'm like, it's true though. And like, I'm the gatekeeper of what our family eats. Yeah. And I'm not going to feed you shit anymore. I'm just not going to do it.
Right.
I'm not going to give you fruit roll-ups with a bunch of junk in them. I'm not going to drive through and give you a Happy Meal because the toy is really cool. Like, you got enough damn toys anyway.
And it's crazy. All is a really good example of how powerful, the name brand stuff is in flavor alone versus something that's quote healthier. Because Because you could put, Honey Nut Cheerios next to Target's brand of
like honey
organic
hoops,
honey hoops or whatever they're called. And to me, I could get over it and be like, yeah, I'll eat that. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But all will eat the hoops and be like, no,
I know.
This doesn't taste like Honey Nut Cheerios. And it's like, well, no shit.
But if she would have had honey hoops first.
Because there's not a bunch of crap in this one, where the Honey Nut Cheerios is just packed with sugars and chemicals to make it not get soggy in the milk. Like, imagine what they have to put on something to make it not get soggy.
Right.
They put like carnauba wax on everything.
It's also kind of wild to think if, I think of it now more so with Archer, right? Because with Olive, we didn't know as much as we do now. And a big one with Olive, right, is every kid has Honey Nut Cheerios, but like Archer he's the Honey Hoops kid.
Right. Yeah. Because that's his cereal. That's what he knows.
Yeah.
Right.
So for him, he's like, oh, hell yeah,
like,
about to get this cereal.
Sure.
I don't care.
Right.
But yeah, Olive, I mean, I don't even know how many different cereals we went through to find.
Oh, it's insane.
Honey
You
Hoops.
even did the magic, what's it called?
Magic Spoon. I've literally done them all.
I know.
I have literally done them all. And if
Magic
you know me,
Spoon was weird.
You know me, I hate throwing food away.
Yeah, I know.
Hate it.
Yeah. Magic Spoon was weird.
Yeah. I mean, I think the whole experience was weird, right? Our box got like lost in shipment, and I mean, they made it right, and all of that, but it was like still a very weird thing. I gave them to my dad and he ended up loving them. So
yeah, I don't know.
It worked. But yeah, I mean, I've gone through tons of different fruit snacks for her to find ones that she's actually liked. And as funny as it is, we've landed on, those Bear fruit, which is like their fruit roll up, but it's 4 ingredients.
Oh, she loves those. Yeah.
4 ingredients.
Yeah.
Dye free.
Yeah.
Loves them. All natural.
No natural flavor. No natural flavors. No.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they come with like a cool game. So she's like, oh yeah, even better. And yeah, so it's just, you have to, and the other part is you have to be diligent. Like if you're not going to be diligent on switching out your foods,
right,
don't even do it.
Right.
Don't even do it. Like if you're not committed to throwing out every shitty food in your house,
so hard,
and not buying it again,
right,
don't do it.
I know.
It just,
you won't find Kraft macaroni and cheese in the house. Nope. You won't find Doritos. You won't find Cheetos. You won't find, it's
funny because Olive has a friend that comes over, and I'll be like, do you want one of these? No. Do you want one of these? No. Do you want one of these? No. And he's like, I don't eat any of this. And I'm like, dude, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Like,
try these fake Pringles. They're really good.
I mean, he did like those, so that one was a win. But I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to feed our kids crap. I'm not going to feed other people's kids crap. Right. Like, I just don't have it in me.
Yeah.
And even down to like baking, right? I watch so many videos on Instagram and I'm like, man, like those look so great. And they're like, use this, Pillsbury flour. And
I know. Yeah.
Why?
That's why I just make everything we make here starts with the, organic.
King Arthur's flour.
Whole grain wheat. Right.
So food, that was a big one for me. It's funny as it is, it started with like products that we put on our bodies years ago and turned into food. Yeah. Now it's what we put in our bodies. And I am very blessed, and I say it all the time. I tell all of our friends, I am blessed that our children are great eaters, but sometimes I don't even know how we afford to feed them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because they eat nonstop.
But we do.
Always.
Always.
But yeah, I mean, it's wild to see your child's behavior change based on what they're eating. Yeah,
because they're kids, so they're going to be rambunctious, but man, are they're never out of control.
No, and it's
ever.
Wild.
They're always easily controlled, very well mannered.
Yeah.
And they're just not, we don't have kids that I'm embarrassed to take places.
For sure. And I think another thing that bothers me, in regards to just like the food situation, right, is, I wish more doctors and more nurse practitioners, and I wish they had better knowledge of food, because food could be so healing.
Yeah. No. Right.
And it could also be so damaging.
Right.
And so what's the first thing you tell a cancer patient to cut out?
Sugar.
You know, and so
It's crazy.
I really wish that doctors and people in the medical field pushed a healthier diet when they sat down and talked to people.
They will literally give you Jello
Yeah.
in the hospital full of sugar.
Yeah.
It just makes no freaking sense. And they'll go and give you
But it's cheap.
a spoonful of macaroni and cheese when you're sitting there trying to recover in the hospital.
Yeah.
And, you know, that part I'll never understand.
Yeah.
You know, trying to learn about food and what's good and what's bad and what's processed and what's not processed and everything, anything outside of your home that you're not making in your home is processed.
Yeah.
You know, it's, you know, if it's not raw beef or chicken or seafood or whatever it is, it's processed. You know, even an all beef hot dog is processed.
It's still processed.
It's processed. Look on
Very
the
much
package.
so.
It doesn't just say beef.
Nope.
No, it's
Natural
got 55 other ingredients.
Yeah.
That's all beef hot dog.
Yeah.
You know, but that kind of one thing I noted was, you know, eating your fruits and all the seeds. And I swear there was somewhere in the Bible that talked about eating the fruits and eating the seeds as well. The whole fruit and the seeds. I haven't found, I couldn't find it before we started this, but, you know, it kind of puts me on one of those conspiracy paths.
Of course.
You know, that's, because when if I eat an apple, 99% of the time when I eat apple, I eat the whole freaking thing.
Yeah.
To the core, seeds, everything. Because one thing I don't think people realize, it's definitely slightly different texture when you get to the middle of an apple.
Yes.
But it's the same fruit.
Yeah.
All the way through.
Yep.
It just has seeds in the middle. But I try to eat all the seeds. But it's funny that, you know, the Bible, I had a stat here that the Bible speaks of seeds in 43 books. And there was a few different variations of numbers of how many times in those 43 books. But the one I picked was kind of right in the middle at 254 times. I saw it at like 190 and then I saw it at 300 and something.
Yeah.
So I kind of picked the middle. So it's definitely a hot topic. You know, there's parables of seeds. There's tons of stories about seeds. There's directions on how a seed, you know, dies before it, you know, is resurrected into a plant, and the plant is the seed's body. And it's amazing how many really big farms out there, big companies, have put tons of money into creating seedless fruits. And why?
But the key word was created.
Created, right. Well, yeah, it's all it's garbage fruit. It's not real, right? It's not real fruits. But you know, you look at why are they taking seeds out of fruits?
Right.
You know, and it makes you wonder, you know, and for me, based on the Bible, you know, how much nutrition is really in seeds? You know, because that is the core of that food.
Yeah.
Everything that food came out of that tiny little seed.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's a mustard seed or you know, a watermelon seed, it's every nutrients came from that seed. And the apricot seed, you know, which I ate for a while, which tastes like complete garbage. But not everything good. Weird. Most things that are good for you don't taste good anyways.
It's true too.
But those are supposed to destroy cancer, you know, and it makes you wonder what other stuff are in seeds that, you know, like, is a watermelon seed really good for you?
Right.
Because it's one of, you know, seedless watermelons.
Yeah.
You know, and then they make all these other new oranges, you know, with these cuties, and cuties are not, there's no such thing as a cuties plant that came out of the ground naturally.
I mean, they're cute, but
right. But those are made in a house, in a factory. Or not in a factory, but in a laboratory.
I think the weirdest thing to me is, and I would love to do like a deeper dive into like where people just started to make shit like that.
Yeah.
Like where?
Right.
Like where was somebody like, I'm going to make this tiny little orange and I'm going to cross this with this, and then all of a sudden it's this, and I'm going to call it a clementine. And then the world marketing is going to take it and they're going to turn it into cuties, which is really cute for kids. there's where they get you.
Right.
And
there's no seed, so we control all of it.
Exactly. And then you're like, okay, great. On to the next.
Right.
Which is a very weird thing. And you and I were watching the most frequent Jurassic World. And there were, giant grasshoppers taking over and eating crops, but they weren't eating the bio seed. And so it was just kind of funny to watch it in this phase of life, because it's, if people think for 1 second that that's not actually happening in the world, they're insane.
Okay, we'll take, for anybody who's not believing it, go to Home Depot or Walmart and go buy a package of vegetable or fruit seeds. Plant them. Those seeds will give you fruit or vegetables. But you can't take the seeds from the fruit that those seeds produced and then make more food.
Nope. You can't. You only get enough.
So those seeds are engineered to produce food one time.
Yeah.
One time. And then you have to buy more seeds.
Yep.
Or you just go buy it from the grocery store. So
that's why a lot of people give up.
You have to buy heirloom seeds. Yeah. We have our whole, when the world ends, because it's coming, we have our vault that has,
we can't cut it open now or just buy another one.
We could just buy another one. Those are heirloom seeds. So those seeds reproduce and reproduce and reproduce and reproduce.
So then the idea was actually that we don't need to buy another one, because it will be reproducing seeds that we can use again.
Right. So, now Bill Gates and all the Chinamen own the most land in the country. So
yeah, you definitely have to just get back to the core values of your family and what's important to you and what you're putting in their bodies, because that's what's going to last them forever.
Yep.
And building that foundation for your kids to make healthier food decisions.
Yeah.
I was watching, somebody posted on Instagram earlier, and it was like a funny video of what do Asian people think of Americans? And they were like, that your food is greasy and that you guys are all overweight. And it's like,
we are overweight.
Oh my God.
We are
but it's
fat
true,
country.
And so if you build a better foundation for your kids, they'll make better food decisions.
Yeah.
They just will.
It's obvious we are the fattest country on the planet. I remember had to be 20 years ago, I saw this documentary show or series or something that it was this trainer guy. He would go to the schools and look at the school lunches and the school diets, and the fattest place in the world, the fattest place in the world was in a city called Huntington, and it wasn't in California, it wasn't Huntington Beach, but it was Huntington. I forget what state it was in, but it was the fattest place in the world. And he went there and looked at the school lunches, and they were just complete freaking garbage. But there's no difference, You ask, what'd you have school day? 'Cause we didn't pack you lunch. Pizza. Ugh, God, I can't even imagine the pizza they eat. It's like there's nothing good. It's quick, it's convenient, it's fast, it's filling, and that's all it is.
Yeah. I don't think I can look it up as quickly. Right now, according to the internets, the number one overweight city in the U.S. is McAllen, Texas.
Change it up.
Hey,
everything's bigger in Texas,
including
the bellies.
Yeah.
But it's sad that we are the fattest. It's sad.
Yeah.
When you used to be fat, way back in the day.
Yeah.
It meant that you were really wealthy, because you could afford to eat
all
the food you wanted to.
It's true.
And now we're fat because we're poor. And the only thing available is cheap food.
Yeah.
And the cheap food is filled with crap.
Yep.
It's mind blowing, and getting into the seed oils. You look at canola oil.
Yeah.
Was created during the war. Was it World War II? Or World War One?
I don't remember, but one of them.
But it was created as a lubricant for machines and tanks and shit.
Yeah.
And there was such a surplus of it that they were able to break it down more and manipulate it more to a point where you could use it for cooking.
Yeah.
So it's asinine.
It's disgusting.
You might as well take castor oil and pour it in your pan and cook your eggs on castor oil. You know, and the problem is with these oils, most of the time the problem with the oils is that when you heat them up is when they break open.
Can we also just say what its name is?
What?
Rapeseed.
A rapeseed oil.
It's like, come on, y'all. That doesn't, not one part of that sounds appealing.
Can I say that it's raping your body of life?
It is. I mean,
it's
seriously, it's terrible.
Yeah. I mean, all the seed oils,
Mm-hmm.
you know, what it takes to get the oil from these seeds, from these plants, break it down to the point where it's even consumable. And then when you cook it, all of it, the makeup of it just blows open.
Yeah.
And it's just
Releases toxins.
Poison crap.
Yeah.
So, you know, even olive oils, you know, that's a Bible oil.
But you're supposed to eat it in
but
its natural form.
Supposed to eat in natural form. You're not supposed to cook with it.
Correct.
You're not supposed to cook with it.
Right.
So
still use it in your salad dressings. Just
yeah,
don't put
eat
it in your pan.
Eat it all you want. Just don't heat it up.
Yeah.
Because then it just starts, you know, and even olives are poison off the tree.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of makes sense.
Fitting. Why we named her that.
Fitting.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
You have a fun little tidbit here on
What is
your
it?
spending unnecessary money.
Oh yeah, we'll just pop into that one. I did have something about spending unnecessarily these days because I think we've talked about, you know, one of the big things I want to try to push in our family was, can we live without it?
Yeah.
And I catch myself all the time, and I get that my God gut feeling where it's, you know, my gut feeling to me is God talking to me.
Yeah.
And, you know, I play on Facebook Marketplace like it's a hobby.
Yeah, like pause for a second because you've seen those videos that are like, I don't worry about my husband cheating on me. I worry about him talking to Kevin with a mini excavator that works good sometimes.
Yeah, right.
That's you.
Or Jesse with the 2 jet skis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, quick example. I found 2 jet skis on Facebook Marketplace. They had like 64 hours.
Yeah.
They were older.
Yeah.
They were in such good condition.
Garage
for
kept.
$3,500.
Yeah.
And this is where it starts. This is where it started. So I saw an Instagram video that same day that was a guy who would go and search for Toyotas on Facebook Marketplace, Toyota Tacomas, 4Runners, Tundras, and he would just lowball offer all of them. It'd be like $9,500. He'd be like, I'll give you $7,500. I'll come and get it this afternoon. And then they'd be like, yeah, go for it. So then he would resell them for like 95 or 10 grand or whatever it is. So I saw that and I was like, wow, that's a really good deal. It was $3,500, and I said $2,500. I'll pick them up this afternoon.
Dang.
And he goes 27. And I was to talk to you.
Yep.
And we were like, yeah, that's a great price. I'm like, heck yeah. And then I started thinking, I'm like, man, they haven't been ran in 3 years.
Right.
Hey, can I turn these on when we want to get there and look at them? He's like, yeah, no problem. So I'm like, okay, it's still going good. And then we were going to go start pulling out the money, and you were going to the bank to pull out money because it was it was already a Saturday, and we had to, you know, everything's going to be hard to get to on a Sunday. And so you're on your way to the bank, and I'm walking around Walmart getting dog food, and I'm like, gosh, it's weighing heavy on me, man. Like, this is such a stupid decision.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't financially wouldn't kill us.
No.
But it was like, dang, like, it was, you know, God was hitting me hard thinking, just tell me why?
Right.
Why? You got a van.
Yeah.
That you're trying to put a little bit of money into to hang out with the family through the summer and then through the fall. You barely started that.
Yeah.
And now you're going to become jet ski family, and you're going to take this van and go park it next to the water and stick your jet skis in the water every weekend because you're not busy.
Right.
So I was like, this just, you know, that's, yeah. So it was one of those things that was like, I called you and I was like, hey, I hope you didn't get to the bank yet, because hopefully you're not mad, but I'm going to pull out on this whole thing because God's telling me this is just a bad decision.
Yeah.
So, you know.
You know, it's funny because I actually had no problem with buying the jet skis. I grew up going on jet skis and going on the boat, and so it was super fun to me. But yeah, I mean, we bought the van. We finally put new tires on it. We're going to put an AC in it. And so it's like, I want to enjoy what we've already started.
Yeah.
Before jumping into something else for sure. And then the biggest thing for me was like, where are we going to put them?
I know.
Because you tell me all the time how much the garage gives you anxiety. And I'm like, they're not going to, where are they going to go? They're not going to fit in the garage. We can't fit them at the office. We've got 3 crews now working on 3 different trucks. And like, they all get parked in the shop. And like, where are we going to put them? Like maybe if we had somewhere to put them, it would have been a better timing and better decision. But
then they would have sat like they did for that guy for 3 years in the garage.
Absolutely.
So we would have had fun this one summer, and then I might as well just gotten rid of them.
Although when Jerick sold that one jet ski at the beginning of COVID, or no, the 2 jet skis at the beginning of COVID, I remember that was probably some of the best things I've ever witnessed.
Because he never used them.
No, he didn't. And
then he sold them and regretted it.
Yeah, but he sold them in like an hour.
I know. That was nuts.
It was wild.
So.
I want to wrap this up before we jump into prayer. Obviously, I am a huge fan of George Jenko. I talked about him on the last podcast.
Yeah.
I love what he stands for. I love his knowledge. I love how eager he is to learn. I think that he's somebody extremely influential in the space that the world is in right now. And so huge fan of his.
Yeah.
I think he's doing amazing things. His fiance is his co-host. And so it's just really awesome to see what the Lord is doing there in his podcast and in his life, especially from where he had started and the group of people that he was hanging out with and decisions that, he was making, not maybe directly, but he was involved in, and just love to see like where he's at now. And he had Charlie Kirk on his podcast, which I also loved Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
I love that man's ability to like formulate sentences.
He's a very intelligent guy. Yeah.
Just well-worded sentences at people who are just angry and irate and irrational, and just the level of like calmness that he comes into a situation with. If I could bottle that up, I would. Like, it's amazing to me. I watch all of his stuff and admire again the work that he's doing and how young he is. And so George Jenko had Charlie Kirk on his podcast, and they were talking about the Bible. And this kind of wraps up where we landed with the Bible study. But George Jenko's mom used to always say that the Bible is basic instructions before leaving Earth.
There you go. Yeah.
And it doesn't get more simple than that.
Nope, it doesn't.
And I was like, I was on a walk. I was on my 2-mile walk, and I was listening to their podcast, and I was texting you like what exactly it meant. And you're like, where did you get that
Where'd you get that? That's pretty cool.
And I was like, the George Jenko, Charlie Kirk podcast.
I know. Yeah, it's true. I mean, that's yeah.
So
read
this
it,
is my
pray
shout
about
out.
it, and obey it.
Yeah. This is my shout out to George Jenko's mom.
Yeah.
Because another thing Charlie Kirk says is you are supposed to give credit to, where credit is due, right? To people who founded the ideas, who implemented the ideas, who paved the way for your idea to become something off of that.
Right.
But you should always credit, whatever it is. So this is to George Jenko's mother. You are a very intelligent woman. And the Bible is exactly that. Basic instructions before leaving Earth.
Yep.
So
it's the instructions to life.
Yeah. If you just read it and follow it, you really will be okay.
It's true. Keep reading it. Don't stop reading it, because we're always growing in situations in life. We're always changing, and the climate is it's always changing. It's never the same. Every day is different, and the Bible will always keep you ahead of the curve in your mindset and how you approach situations and how you approach other people. And the Bible truly is an instruction manual on how to do life.
Yeah.
With others, with your neighbor. Being kind to your neighbor is, but Jesus' words was the most important, law of Moses was, love thy neighbor.
Yeah.
So.
All
right.
Take her away.
Lord, thank you for another awesome podcast. We keep saying that, we're giving the podcast over to you and allowing you to put your hands in it. And I think every episode we're witnessing it happening more and more. And we're starting to have more in-depth conversations that involve you and your scriptures, your stories, and we're able to wrap that in with examples and experiences in our own life. And the whole idea behind this is that we're able to help other people as well as entertain at the same time. So we thank you for continuing to push us and guide us and allow us to learn quickly and become wiser in our ways. We pray for those listening tonight or tomorrow or today, this morning, whenever you're listening to this. We pray for your lives, for your families, and the same direction for you to find a relationship with God and start reading the Bible more, and paying more attention to how you live your lives. And I won't go on and on, but we're thankful for everything we have. So, Lord, again, thank you for today, and we pray for a beautiful tomorrow. It's in your name that we pray.
And everybody said,
Amen.
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 Sayonara, suckers.
Peace out, homies.
Bye.